Welcome back to SOS. I'm Steph. Sorry about us. Alright, today we're going to be doing some leathercraft, and I get asked one question every single time I make a leathercraft video. Where do you buy your leather from? Well, I buy my leather from, there's arts and craft stores that I usually will stop in and see if they've got anything, and a lot of people will do leathercraft, and it doesn't matter where you go. There's always that one guy that shows up and buys all the leather, and I have to race. I call ahead and I see if they've got any, and then I go there, and that's because I do videos often on leathercraft, and I have to make sure I have leather available to do some sort of leathercraft. And I'm always lucky if I find that diamond in the rough. I get that one bag that's got that one giant piece of leather in it. That's because I'm cheap, okay? I spend about $6 on a bag, and that bag will be like remnants, and I have to wait on stuff that I get from like Tandy leather, because they're in like Knoxville, Tennessee, and if they send stuff to me from Knoxville, it takes quite a while to get it to my area, and I have to make videos, so waiting on that stuff is kind of a pain. But Tandy leather, okay, I've got a box of goodies from them, and I wanted to share it with you guys and gals today. The stuff that I just recently got from them. And it's not a lot, but it's something, right? And I have to restock because I use all my stuff making videos. I'm telling you, this stuff gets, I have to put money right back into it. So, but luckily a subscriber gave me some help with this purchase to get more leather to make more stuff for him and for others. So usually I use rivets. I don't want to make this video too long. You've seen rivets that I've used before. Let's see, it looks okay. Alright. These are like chrome, right? They're chrome, and they have nickel, and there's so many different flavors people don't know. And we'll get into this stuff here. I'm going to try and... I don't want to keep you guys and gals too long, because I got to make a sheath. Alright, one thing that I do use a lot is, this is the natural thread that I use. And this is in a 20 yard. That's a 20 yard natural. But anyways. But yeah, that's what I sew with. Alright. And if you go to tandyleather.com, you can scroll through and you'll find all this stuff. This time I ordered something different I don't normally use on the show. And I think I've made a video on it. But these are antique brass rivets, or these are the buttons, and then here's your rivets. These are antique. Let me pull them out so you can see them a little better. I don't want to be too hard to see. And these are a little bit different, but these are your antique. A lot of people like knowing this stuff, right? You guys are getting into leathercraft, and you want to know, how do they get the... You'll see stuff like black. You can get black. You can get just brass. It's shiny brass. You can polish it. You can get chrome. You can get nickel. Yeah, once again. But see, I got medium and I got large, and I've got medium and large in the snaps. That's because I make a lot of weird stuff. See, I got some more. And then one more thing that I got. This is kind of cool. You guys and gals might like. It's a Celtic. You can see that. I've already used it a couple of times just to see what it looks like. Celtic brander. You connect it to your soldering iron. It gets really hot, and then you let it have it, and it'll brand a Celtic knotwork logo. I thought it'd be cool for maybe a project in the future. That's pretty much that. And then the remnants. I look up remnants, and then I do like deer tan. This is, yeah, the deer tan remnants. Yeah, deer tan remnants are alright. And you'll spend about $6 to $8 on a bag. Let's see. Yeah, it looks a little something like this. Someone started something and then they stopped. I don't know what they were making, but they had some holes. And this one's got like numbers marked on it. 167. They wrote in there. They were probably working on some kind of something. And this is the leftover components, but I can make a lot of unique stuff out of this, right? And of course you get your colored stuff, your dyed stuff. And then what else do I have over here? I have another bag like it. And then I ordered some just straight up dyed material. It's the same stuff. Anyways, if you go into their website and you click on leather, you can get remnants, or like I do, I get remnants. It's cheaper. Or you can get like a giant roll of leather. Anyways, yeah, look at that. It's just random stuff, right? Alright, let me pause this and we'll kick this video. Alright, so I've got a lot of random leather. And say you are making something for a random, you need a sheath, okay? You just need a sheath. And you need to make one for a particular knife that's a little bit different, right? This sheath right here, I can't use it for an example. I can't. There's no way. So I'm going to have to make this one from scratch. Like I did in my other video, I just used the sheath it came with, and it made it easy on me. I can't do that today. It's not going to work. So, I've got my scraps. And I want something thick as it's inside to protect cutting the sheath open. I don't want the blade to be so sharp that it's cutting into it. So you got to make sure it's got some stoppage. So what you do to make stoppage, figure out where you want the blade to stop first. Then get it lined up the way you want it. It's going to be a little bit wider. I could go straight up in the middle of this thing and make it like that. Hang on. Okay. So I'm going to try and use just a crayon to let me know where I'm going to be. And you get a little bit of, it's just waxy crayon, so you get a little bit on there. You just need to know where it's going to go. You're probably going to get a little bit of crayon on what you're working on. It'll be okay. It will survive. Alright, so I know where my template is and where it's going to go. So, now I just need to cut this out. Alright, once you get the center cut out, you're going to have to cut out the excess, okay? Alright, I've got this cut out. We know that's where our blade's going to go. We know it's going to sit right in there. And it might be a little bit longer than what you need. So I can cut that down some. I don't need it that long. Here and here. So this tab. And then this tab. Something like that. Yeah, it fits a lot better. But yeah, it'll be just like that. Doesn't have to be super thick, even though the blade is extremely thick. It's going to be alright. I could add a little bit more leather to it to raise it up more. I'm sure it'll be alright. Now I go through here. I mean, if I add another piece of leather to it, it's going to be really hard to do rivets on it. So you don't want it too thick. And let's see here. Then the back strap on it's probably going to be completely separate because I'm going to have to use a different type of back strap for it. But you want to have enough room to do your back strap. Alright. So like this, and then I'm going to take, I need to know where I'm going here. So a draw. Just use a pen if your pen works. That way you know where to cut it. Just like that. Know where it's stopping at. Alright, hang on a sec. Alright, I've got that cut out. This is going to go here. Just like that. This is going to be worn on the right hand side. like I said, I'm going to have a separate back strap. It's going to be a little bit different on this build than I would normally do, because I've got to make a heavy duty back strap. I don't have that kind of material, so I'm going to have to make something super heavy duty to hold this blade in place. It's not going to work right if I don't. So I'm going to have to make something a little bit different for the back strap. It's going to have to be heavy, real heavy. I already have this laid out for a heavier, that's straight and even. That's probably going to have to work because it's going to have to be heavy. That's one of the problems you run into with making this stuff, is having something that works well, right? Alright, hang on. Alright, yeah, at this point you got to figure out where everything's going to set before you go any further. Because if you don't, now I'm dealing with remnants here. Putting these together, it can be easy on you or it can be hard on you. So just keep that in mind. Alright, so got this laid out the way I want it. I want this here. I know exactly where these are going to be. So just as a reminder, I don't want to go too far. So I just put a little tab here to remind me. Now I know I can put a couple of holes there. Right here. My little hammer over here. I just need to mark them before I go any further. Because these are going to go on the inside. And it's going to, like I said, you're going to have something heavy duty to hold this together. To hold the knife on the person carrying it, right? It's going to have to be heavy duty. So I'm using rivets to do that. And there's a difference in medium and large rivets. You'll see the length of that one versus the length of that one. See that? Major difference in medium and large. This is my large. I don't need for this yet, but I do need my mediums. And just get them started. Alright, hang on. Alright, I've got my rivets in for that. And then for the next step, you're going to bring this up and over, but I don't need to do it yet because I have the rest of it to put together anyways. I can do this at any time. So the next step, you're going to try and find another piece that will work for your next step. You can just play around with different types of leather around and get the right one that you want. All you got to do is take a look at your patterns. Y'all. If none of this works, go to another piece of leather. Alright, hang on. Alright, I've got my other piece that I need. Got my other layer that I needed. There's my other piece that I needed. It all starts coming together. And when you're done, all you do is sand the outer, and then it becomes nice and round and even. That's what I do when I finish it up, is I just sand it out, and it works out. Alright, one more thing that I have to add to this is a gigantic monstrous ferro rod. This is going to be pretty crazy, and I hope it works out. Thought about adding another piece of leather here. I think I might add another skin to this because it's probably going to need it. I'm not sure yet. Alright, one second. Okay, every now and then I gotta stop and figure that next section out. Alright, I've got it. It'll work. It'll be fun. Alright, let me get this. Yeah, what I do is I just glue this is what's going to hold the ferro rod, and I just glue that in place. Now I wanted something a little bit longer to work a little bit better. I'm making a, it's going to be similar to this one, so for the ferro rod. The knife will be similar as well. Alright, I just got to get my glue going. That's how I hold all this in place until I get it stitched, is I just use some good old Gorilla Glue, super glue, whatever you got. And it holds everything in place nice. Alright, let's let this dry. Still letting this dry real quick. I got the other layer on. While I was doing that, I wanted to talk to you. The reason why I'm going with this color of leather, I wanted it. I fought real hard to try and keep it this color, because the black blade, if we're going to make a leather sheath, going with a black leather sheath, that wouldn't be realistic, because I've already got something black to carry it in, right? Why would I do that? Well, I want something a different color but goes with the same color, and black really goes good with this color. So that's why I'm doing this in this color. Some people ask questions like that. Why would you use that color? Alright, so I've got this started. Now the next step that I'm going to have to do, now this is going to get shaped. You see some odd ball stuff. This will all get shaped when I'm done. I shape this stuff out, and this is going to work just fine in this, if you could see that. That's going to work great. Alright, it's rough right now, and I've got to clean that up. But the one thing that I always do before I even get started is I go ahead and I do my rivets. Now I'm going to need rivets here, and I'm going to use, today I'm going to get to use the long rivets for this project, also at the end. So I'm going to need 3. You're going to want 3 rivets. I do the rivets first, so that way when I stitch, I stop my stitch right at that point, and it doesn't go any further, and it doesn't look tacky. That's why I do that. So let me punch my holes, I'll add my rivets, and you'll see how it looks. Alright, now I've got my rivets in place for this, and now it's time to start my stitch pattern. Okay, I've got all my holes punched. I guess now I can start stitching, so I'm going to get over here to my thread here and find the magical place they hid the oh, here it is. Where did they hide that at? There it is. Alright, make sure I get just what I need here. Starting to unravel all crazy. There we go. Woo. Okay. Yeah, this is going to look a lot cooler with this versus what I had. I had some, I don't know, that generic stuff that I had wasn't very good. But this stuff's going to look a lot cooler, I think. We'll see. Just got to cut that excess off. Find my needle. Alright. And just thread her up. I always pull a little extra back, and then I leave, that's how I sew. I just leave it like that. And then I just pull it right through the back side, just like this. And then when I get back here, I leave about that much so I can tie it off when I come back. That's how I do it. I make one pass, and then I go all the way back the way I came, pretty much. Another thing you're going to want to use that helps quite a bit is a pair of pliers to pull it back through, because you're going to get stuck, right? Just pull it on through, and then just keep on going. Sew it up. Alright, so my least favorite thing to do is hand stitch. I'm just saying. It is not my favorite thing to do. Alright, just so I can clean some of this up. I know some of it's just a little bit longer. I gotta get the edges. You have to do a lot of this stuff by hand. And that's what it is, man. It's handmade. You're going to do a lot of stuff by hand. Some stuff you're just not going to be able to set and trim it all out, or, sand it all out. So you're going to have to sit down and do a lot of this stuff by hand. It's a lot of it by hand. Cut off the heavy spots and go through, take a look at everything. Just like that. Just tilt it and get off that excess there. And then take a look at your other areas and see the angles. See if you need to trim that too. And sometimes you gotta bend stuff around. Alright, so that's starting to take shape. Except for here, this looks kind of rough. But I'm going to have to sand that. Like I said, that spot just turned out rough. Just like that. Alright, so basically you take your sander. Let me get my sander. So I don't have a belt sander. That's one thing I don't own. I don't own a leather sewing machine or a belt sander. So what I do, if you can see that. And look what's happening there. You see that? So that's coming flush. That's how that works. Now I gotta go around the whole thing, okay? Alright, and then I've got this nice and smoothed out. All the way up here. Now, do some more crazy stuff. Get my little wheel. This will rough out this will smooth out the edge. And you just go around it with this. This is just how I smooth out the sides. There we go. That's nice and smooth. Alright, now when it comes to making one of these things, you can make one out of wood, you can make one out of plastic. It doesn't matter. This is just an old pulley. I took and ran a bolt through it just so it'll go through my drill. I do stuff on the cheap, man. I don't spend a lot of money on this stuff. It's not meant to be a fortune into this, okay? Alright, I get this made. Now I need to bring this up, so I need to measure out, let's see, where do I want that and how. I need to take that divot out. I'll take the divot out. There we go, nice and straight. Now bring that together, just like that. Now I'm going to run my rivets. Let me get my rivets in there. Alright, so now I got my fold for the belt loop. Now I've got to put something to hold the knife in. So I got to figure out where the knife's going to go first. Alright, fits good. It's fitting in there great. It's how it's supposed to be. It's landing right where the rivet is. So I don't have to worry about it driving through. Looks like the ferro rod is working great. So there you go. Pretty simple design. And then now I just need to figure out where this is going to go and what am I going to use for it. Once again, I'm going to use something simple, kind of like that. It's a dark vibe to it. Let's see. I got something that's like similar to what I'm already working with. I don't know if that's going to fit. Let's see. That's really close. Alright, let's give it a look. Alright, I've got my lock in place. You can see that okay. And then, like I said before, this works fine. So, that's pretty much that. Now I just need to put some tree art on it. Now I just need to draw a happy little tree. Get out, cat. Cat's trying to get some food from me. I ain't got no food for it. That's pretty good. Why? For self-defense. There you go. Alright. Alright, well, there you have it. That's what it looks like. Hope everybody enjoyed it. But making a random knife sheath for a random knife. There you go. I mean, the knife could use a wrist strap, but there you go. Bam. Alright. Thank you for watching SOS. I am Staff Sergeant Badass. Have a beautiful, fabulous, fantastic unicorn rainbow day. Take it easy.